Okay. So last week we reviewed a little bit about the history of the Jewish people in the time of the Hashmonaim, right? This was before the destruction of the second Beth Hamikdash, and this was the Jewish people holding on before getting it goes like this. בשנת 3000 תק"ו צדיק א' למניין שאנו מונים לירושנה לכיבוש הארץ על ידי היוונים. Right, on the third part. So we're just going to review a little bit. So the Jewish people, היוונים בהנהגתו בזזו את כלי המקדש, so they destroyed the כלי המקדש, פרצו את חומות ירושלים, they saw them as Jews, and they killed a lot. בשנת 3000 תק"ו צדיק ג' גזר אנטיוכוס על היהודים לעזוב את התורה ומצוותיה ואף הטיל עונש מוות על מי שיקיים את המצוות. So he went and he made a decree because he wanted the Jews to obey Torah, and he said anyone who's going to do the Torah and not do Avodah Zarah is going to get death penalty. That was all the sacrifices were cancelled out. Right, and they went from city to city. Nazis did, right? They go city to city, and they rounded up the Jews. קיום ברית המילה נאסר, and also the Brit Milah was forbidden. נשים שחפו נפשן למול את בניהם עושה להורג. Any woman who will go and sacrifice themselves to give the Brit Milah to their kids, they would go and get killed. והגבו גזירות השמד, רבים חסידים ברחו למדבריות ומערות לעשות אחרות, ורבים נהרגו על קידוש השם. So with all these gzerot, this was a real annihilation of the Jewish people to really make them that they will stop keeping the Torah, right? To make them mishubadim. Not mishubadim, but there's it's like the word is mumarim. What's mumarim? Mumarim is people to abandon the Torah. So great, but what's the point to be alive if you're not a Jew, right? So a lot of people, they ran away, they went off to the deserts, right? Whatever they could to keep it. הלכת סחריב כנגד היהדות עורר את הזיק הנשמתי, וכשהגיעו היוונים לכפר מודיעין וביקשו להקשיח את מתתיהו בן יוחנן כהן גדול, אבל רק כאן מתתיהו והרג את היווני והמתייוון שאיתו. Jewish people, but through the harsh pressure, there was a spark that united inside the Jewish people. That we're not going to become like the Goyim, we're not going to accept this. And therefore, Yochanan Kohen Gadol, Matityahu, right? He went and he stood up, and he got the order to convert and to become like a goy. He went and he killed the officers that came to convert him. And therefore, as soon as he did this, the civil war started. החידוש במעשהו היה שבמקום להיהרג על קידוש השם, כי כאשר החסידים בחר להרוג את הצורר, ואחד עמניו הרים את נס המרד ביוונים ובהתייוונות. And therefore, there was a very new idea of it. The new idea was that instead of getting killed al Kiddush Hashem, he was the one who killed the enemy. So therefore, he can live al Kiddush Hashem. And with his sons, he went and he was the flame to hold on to the Jewish banner of the miracle against the Yevani, to keep up the rebellion. And the war was very difficult. Yehuda HaMaccabi שהיה נועז ביוניו, את הלוחמים בגבורה וכישרון בגברו החשמונאים על חילות היוונים. And therefore, they were able to fight back the Greeks. And after 2 years of fighting, they were able to reconquer Yerushalayim. right? Because we have to remember that the Maccabi, the Greeks, like we said before, they took over Israel for around 160 years. Greeks, but we were the last people. And like we said, we saw that the rich people that were very successful, these are the ones that started to be influenced. Maybe we like sports, maybe we like this, maybe we like that. One should be like them. Era, they were able to go and purify the Beth Hamikdash, like it used to be. And this is where the miracle of the oil flask happened. Right? There's just something very important, that when we talk about the miracle, the only miracle we talk about is, like we said, is about the oil. Right? The fact we won the war, okay, big deal. That's not the main thing. The main thing was that we got the oil and we re-sanctified the Beth Hamikdash. And therefore, since I'm already talking to you about the oil, it was a spiritual war. Abandon Shabbat, abandon the Torah, be pro murderers, be pro everything that Hashem hates, be pro that, and we love you. Don't everything you want. And he killed the Greek. It was out of choice. It wasn't out of it was Hamikdash. And now they set up the people. They've set up new Kohen, a new Kohen instead of Beth Hamikdash that was Hellenized. כדי שלא יהודים Greeks came back in, and then they took over the Yerushalayim. But as back in the Beit HaMikdash, what they did, they put they found someone in the Jewish community who wanted to be the new Kohen Gadol. Said, look, you're going to do exactly what we're going to tell you, and you're going to be the new Kohen Gadol. And we'll ויתראו ליהודים לקיים את התורה ומצוותיה. אולם המרד כבר לא נפסק. החשמונאים המשיכו להילחם ביוונים ובהתייוונות. המלחמה ידעה עליות ומורדות. And therefore, the Hashmonaim didn't stop. They continued fighting against the Yevanim, and they flew diplomatia, a little bit of diplomacy, a little bit of strategic military actions. So after decades, הגענו לעצמאות המדינה. What you have to remember is that the Greeks were in control of the world, and the Romans were also controlling the world. The things that we wanted to. It looks like if the Yevanim, there's also, don't worry, everything is good. We have some wine, we can drink. Don't worry, everything. Don't worry. If you want to find a loophole somewhere, you can find something, right? You tell me the problem, and I can find you a solution. But that's not the way that we do it. Here it says, that's it. They would be, then you become like me, like all the other nations. Ulam yad Hashem hamistateret b'machalei adorot yitzra et ha'inut. Right, but here we had the hand of Hashem working through the course of the generations, created that went in Matityahu and through the rebellion. Like we saw with Pharaoh, it said that Hashem went and he heard in his heart, so the Jews will go out, and then that's it. We don't know what would happen, but Hashem had to go bring the 10 plagues. He had to go and show that he was the one running the show, running the world, and through this, it showed our love and affection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how much he took care and he loved us. So there was a special hand of Hashem. He also hardened the heart of Antiochus. ומתוך כך נתגלתה האמונה, מסירות הנפש So it was revealed the Jewish faith and the self-sacrifice and the Jewish courage, the gvura of the Jews. That's the gvura of the Jews. So now we go on the second. We're good so far? Yes, Mr. Yaakov, Naftali? We're good? Chazak. It's very nice. No, he's here. I see him. Baruch Hashem. It's not the same as in real life, but it's okay. We're gonna give him we're gonna have a tour for today. Okay, we don't see you, so we'll send you the bill. Very good. So now the war is over. Baruch Hashem. Business is booming. We took over the land, the Beth Hamikdash. Unfortunately, this is the real war today of Chanukah, right? What is the war of Chanukah? It's a cultural war. Right? So we still have to go against this vast majority of things that were Hellenistic, right? Everywhere you see was only the one is going to be James, right? And this one's going to be Luke, and this one's going to be Pierre, and this one's going to be, right? This is the way. They didn't keep a lot of things that they had to keep, but they followed the way of the Hellenists, of Hellenism. So they were also, the problem with the Greeks is that it's not that they had nothing, they had a lot, right? So they had they had a lot of science in them. It was very sophisticated. They had very good military ways of doing war. They had they're like a next level, right? The way they built all kinds of structures till today, we see that you have all these structures that are on. Therefore, we see that all those different things that they did, and therefore there was what to be. What it seemed at least there was what to be, let's say, impressed with them. These people, the sports. Look at those athletes. Look at those. Look at this guy. How fit he is. Therefore, they used to make all kinds of plays, theater, and doing all kinds of competition, right? You have this guy, Mr. Williams, he takes the leather ball, he shoots it in the basket. Wow, so you cannot see any games, but just the idea that we should not be impressed by these things, right? If you really think about, you really go into it, right? The fact that Mr. Williams or Mr. Johnny pushed in the ball.
It's very worthless in the grand scheme of things.
That's the idea came like an obsession. לכן, צריכה התרבות היוונית להתפשט בעוצמה רבה, כל כך בכל המוכר. Even after hundreds of years, after the Romans took over, כאשר האומה הפכה להכרח החזקה בעולם, התרבות היוונית עדיין שליטה בקיפה. So even though when Rome, למרות שהמרד הסיק לאחור את התהליך התיוונות, הוא לא נפסק, לאחר כמה עשרות שנים חזרה התייוונות להכות שורשים עמוקים בקרב העשירים ובקרב היהודים שבאו במגנם. And therefore what happened was that slowly it came back after the Hashmonaim, after everything came back, and back in following those things. And they were saying, look, in life that I go to synagogue, I can be half a crook that go with Christine, right? So you do have. And now these people that were Matityahu, they were called the Stukim. So therefore, they did not completely they kept the written Torah, and they said that we're going to include in the written Torah all the culture of the Greek. אחת התרגליות ההיסטוריות שנחקר children and the great-grandchildren of Matityahu, שמסר את נפשו על מלחמה בהתייוונות, נמשכו בעצמם אחר המתייוונים, פגעו בחכמי ישראל שומרי המסורת. That's what was so sad. It was Stukim that came from him. So it was very sad. You see, the great-grandfather, he was a tzaddik in Bnei Brak, learning Torah all day. The great-grand Ninu shel Matityahu היה ינאי המלך. Therefore, his great-grandson was who? מכהונה גדולה. So he was Yanai was a very big Rasha. He was a king. He was a very big Rasha. And he, at the same time, it's not enough. I'm the king. I also want to be the Kohen Gadol. I'm going to take two positions, right? Two salaries. So, and therefore he was following his life like the Mityavnim, like the Greeks. נע מבחינה לאומית לחם להרחבת גבולות ישראל, אולם מבחינה דתית תמך בעיסוקים ולחם בחוכמי ישראל. Supported the Stukim, who went all the different things, the Torah, let's see, the Tefillin, the Brit Milah, what is it, the Mezuzot, all these things they didn't believe. It doesn't, in the Torah, it doesn't tell you how to do it. It tells you if you want to eat anything. What the milah is. It tells you the tefillin. You put a sign on your arm and on your. How do you know what you have to put? Maybe you have to put So therefore, they rejected the Torah. Also, we have, for example, it says an eye for an eye in the Torah. And we know that it's not an eye for an eye because we see many other places that there's proof that when we say an eye for an eye, we talk about a monetary value. I'm sorry, my friend. You have to remove your eye. It reminds me of a story with it was this guy, the Yarilewa Nabi, and they told him, look, you have to wish whatever you want. I give it to you. But to your enemy, I give double. So what did he say? He said, look, poke one eye. Once in a lifetime opportunity, and you ask the guy, poke me one eye so my enemy loses both of his eyes. So let's go back. So eventually what happened, the servants of the Hashmonaim were able to take over the monarchy. So imagine the slaves started killing the masters, and they were able to take over the monarchy, and they ruled. So Herod, right? So there's even hotels in Israel after him. He's the one who took over. So it was so bad what they did to the Hashmonaim that the Hashmonaim, it says, the Chamim said in the Gemara in Bava Batcha, they said anyone who says that they come from Hashmonaim, they're either a slave or they're liars. It can't be that you're really from the Hashmonaim, that you're a regular Jew. Meaning that it was something very horrible that happened to them. Abis there, yes.
So, if you want to it's the family of
Right.
And then now we're talking about like
the future after what happened.
They consider them like evil.
No, it's not. No, it's that they stopped following the Torah properly. They became like Zdukim, and then their servants were going and went and killed them and took over. And it was so bad with the Hashmonaim families that not only that they were called either slaves, or it cannot be that you were from the Hashmonaim. Imagine how bad that is. There was not one family that was saved. There was everybody from the Hashmonaim. So now let's see. It's very shocking. Look, you have on one hand you see, whoa, look at these incredible people. Back in the text. So according to this, we can understand the criticism that the sages of ישראל had against the חשמונאים, שלא השתדלו בתחילה למנות מלך בבית דה, כפי הברכת התורה. לא יעשו שבט מיהודה. Why were they punished? Because they did not follow the Torah, right? The Hashmonaim, they were not from the tribe of Yehuda. So the Hashmonaim went and they decided to appoint themselves as kings. So instead of going and after winning the war and saying, look, we're going to give it to the what's it called, to Yehuda, they took it for themselves. Right? The Hashmonaim, they were from Shevet Levi. Right? So they were not supposed to be the kings. They were supposed to serve the Beth Hamikdash, but not to be the kings. But now they took over. So at the beginning, and after they crowned themselves to be the kings, not only that, they took themselves the role. Something that's all Hashmonaim could be Kohanim.
No, for sure, because they didn't intermarry whatever with other families.
No, because if you come from Levi, you can be either a Levi, but so it could be you are a Levi, but you're from the Hashmonaim, so you put yourself Kohen Gadol, or it could be that you're from Hashmonaim, but you were not supposed to be the Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol, you had many criteria to be the smartest, you had to be the richest, you had to be.
I'm saying that like a lot of them were like Kohanim. Like,
the Kohanim, but they appointed themselves.
Yeah, they appointed themselves.
Without
I'm not talking about like that they were right. I'm saying that they were just like a
right. אולם עיסוקים בסדרי השלטון ותככיו פגע בעבודתם ככהנים גדולים. In politics and doing all kinds of business with the government and things like that, it affected the way they were serving as Kohanim. Because you have to remember that, what did we say, when the Greeks took over again, right? So then I pointed, we'll take over, but you're going to be the Kohen Gadol. You're going to take over. So then they took over, but then it was bad. Because it was just like a show. You know, they weren't able to do it, and it was not the most righteous that was the Kohen Gadol. It was just the one who wanted the power. And therefore, the proper conduct of Hamidash was made unholy. Therefore, the influence of the Hellenized, so not only that, is that even with they were not completely independent, right? So even when they were ruling, they were not completely independent. Because they were still under the shadow of the powerful empires. It's not completely dominated, and then you're ruling the world. No, you were able to save you a little. Same time, you didn't have it under them. Now we're in here. Very good. So now, why are we talking about all this? So now let's see. In Kol HaChischonot, so despite all the problems that came with this, היה ערך עצום לניצחותיהם של בית החשמונאי. So the victory מאוד חלקית תרמה כמו שהייתה חלקית. It was that was about 40% of all the crops that were given to the Bani. ומאז ואילך כמעט כל היבול נשאר בארץ וסייע להתפתחותה הכלכלית של יהודה, and therefore it led to the economic development because most of the produce יהודית התבשלה למחז ארץ ישראל. So were more settlements. יהודים עלו מהתפוצות. A lot of Jews immigrated from חוץ לארץ. היהודה גברה והעם היהודי, right? And then the Jewish people went and endured the first galut, and it was very difficult during this time. Everyone who left in between because they didn't want to become like the goyim, right? They were able to go back inside the land. בחסותה של העצמאות המדינית, ארץ ישראל חזרה להיות המרכז הלאומי והרוחני של עם ישראל. ביתי המדרש פרחו והתחזקו. So not only that, so since we had this political independence, the land of Israel was able to continue growing and became the center of all the Jewish people. Right, so being learned everywhere. So it was a very good time for the Jewish people. תרתם של אנשי כנסת הגדולה העמידו דב תלמידים הרבה ועשו סייג התורה וקיימם במלואה, and therefore the people of the great assembly, the sages, the chachamim, the anim, they were able to make many students, and they made a fence around the Torah. And what do you mean a fence? Whatever they ruled became the law. באותם הימים הונח היסוד הרוחני של תורה שבעל פה, שמכוחו שמר עם ישראל על אמונתו ותורתו במשך 2000. And in those days, the foundation of the Torah שבעל פה, the oral Torah, was put, and thanks to this time, the Torah was able to be preserved and kept, and so many halachot and different things came up from that time till today that we have. So we see that it was very important this time. So now we see that the miracle of the shipment is really the real reason why we come, right? אומנם בית המקדש השני נחרב בכל הישגיהם המדיניים של שמיים בטלו. However, we see that during this, eventually the second temple was destroyed, and everything that the Chashmonim were able to build was destroyed. But the miracle, because it was a spiritual miracle. אבל לימוד התורה שבעל פה, שהתפתחה והתעצם באותה ימים נשאר לנצח. So however, it's true that the military victories stopped, right? We lost after. But what stayed was the development of the Torah, the learning of the Torah, the oral Torah spreading amongst the Jewish people. Through the miracle of the flask of oil, it was revealed the eternal quality of the Torah. That it has an ability to eliminate what is dark. It goes beyond the laws of nature. And therefore, that's why today, in 2025, 10 o'clock at night, and the same Torah that we received on Har Sinai. Also, the miracle of the oil, the thing that makes the Jewish people special. That we are not like the other nations. We cannot subjugate the Jewish we cannot force them to stop following the Torah from their faith. זכרו מתייתהו ובניו, שבזכות מסירות נפשם נתגלה היסוד העמוק של התורה בסוגיות ישראל, אבל בית מהות, החשובים באופן חגיגי במיוחד. So we see that they had a lot of merit, Matityahu and his sons, for the self-sacrifice that they did for the Jewish people, being revealed, and everything that happened then. But we see that as a monarchy, the Hashmonaim was something that was not able to continue. A lot of problems and issues came from it. Therefore, it is clear and understood the words of the sages in Rosh Hashanah. We explain that due to the miracle of the oil that we had in Chanukah, we made an obligation to light the candles of the על ידי נספח השמיים התברר שפירות הניצחון הצבאי על היוונים אינם ישר בלבד כלל לדורות. Through a miracle of the oil, that the fruits of this victory that we had against the Goyim, right, was for all generations. It was not only for that. Or if it wasn't for that specific time, where all the Jews were able to go back to the land, they were able to go and keep the economy rolling, and were able to produce more Beit Midrashot, and develop the Torah like it had to, then we would not be here today. Therefore, קבעו חכמים להמשיך לקיים את ימי החנוכה למרות ששאר הימים הטובים שנזכרו במגילת תענית ואפילו לאחר חורבן בית המקדש. ועל כן, יחד עם המצוות להדליק נרות בשמונת ימי החנוכה, אנו מודים ומהללים להשם באמירת על הניסים וההלל, על ההצלה, הניצחון והישועה. To keep the days of Chanukah, even though we saw like there was, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 days of celebration. There was this day that the Hashmonaim won that battle, and that battle, and that battle. But at the end, the only thing, the days of Chanukah, that were the days of the fast. And because after the destruction of the Beth Hamikdash, there was no reason to continue. What are you Hamikdash? However, the spiritual miracle, this always stays. ועל כן יחד את המצווה להדליק נרות בשמונת ימי החנוכה, אנו מודים ומהללים להשם באמירת על הניסים וההלל על ההצלה, הניצחון והישועה. Therefore, it's very interesting. On Chanukah, we say Hallel, the full Hallel, every single night, 8 days straight. On Purim, we don't say Hallel, but we replace it with the Megillah. But many days we see that we do half a Hallel. On Chanukah, we do the full Hallel, because it was such a big salvation. במשך השנים התברר כי הנס עוד גדול בהרבה, לא רק שהצלחנו לשרות בתוך אוקיינוס הלניסטי שטטף את העולם. So over the years it became clear that the miracle was finished to survive against the Hellenism שטטף את העולם, אלא שבתהליך ארוך ומורכב פוררה היהדות את רוב האלילים שבהלניזם. So not only that, the Jewish people was able also to remove any Hellenism. So we didn't see Jews going and serving the Greek gods or doing these kinds of things. So they believe in Hashem being the one God, values of morality, and the aspiration to make the world, to prepare the world, they went and they were spread amongst the nations of the world, right? So it's interesting because now he's saying that was the opposite that happened. Not only that the Greeks weren't able to win, but Judaism actually spread in the world. And we see it through Christianity. And you see, that's what the Rambam says. The Rambam says that what's it called? To get prepared for Mashiach, that's why the Goyim had to go through these two things to get closer to knowing the truth, right? Because the Torah, Hashem gives it. So they believe in all this, that we receive the Torah in our night, and Moshe Rabbeinu was there. That with the Ten Commandments, they all believe 100%. 100%.
No,
Of course.
some of those.
No, all
Muslims,
Muslims believe that the Jews received the Torah on Sinai.
That the people that got the Torah were Muslim. Moses was a Muslim. The Mauritian was
No. Because no, this is something else. No, Jews. It's a clear verses in the. No, but because they say basically summon themselves to God. But so for them, anyone who summons themselves to God is a Muslim, right? But that's just also a rewriting of history, right? Everyone I like is a Muslim. That's an infidel. Very good. But it's interesting that we see that there was an opposite effect. So we see that a lot of good things actually came from removing Hellenism, which was paganism, to going to closer to believing in one God and Hashem, and through these things, even והוא הולך ומהיר עד אשר נזכר להביא שמן חדש וטהור מזית ארץ ישראל, שממנו נדליק את מנורת בית המקדשנו, ותמלא הארץ דעת את השם במהרה בימינו אמן. And therefore now, before we're going to start that, he finishes off and he says, and the longer we're in exile, the longer we see that there's the light of the Torah being spread, and it continues to shine until we're going to have the merit in the Mount of Olives to go and take the special oil in the land of Israel and to the Beth Hamikdash, because when we rebuild, to go and light there the menorah like we're supposed to. And this is in the time of Mashiach. It says, what will be so special in the time of Mashiach is that the whole world will know Hashem. It will not be here like now. It's something that we have to work on. It's something that we have to learn. It's something that we have to go and work. But then it will be all revealed and clear to everybody who is going to be there. Now we're just going to do a few more halachot, and then we're going to finish off about for Chanukah. So without Hashem, next week we're going to be able to continue with other halachot.